We're in Bergen, New Jersey, and I am headed to Aldi's. Aldi's has some really unique offerings. It's one of the top 10 grocers in the United States of America. And my life's work, along with my business, is getting people to lose weight. I help hundreds of people each and every year, thousands of people since I started my influence online, get in the best shape of their life. So I want to head into Aldi's and I want to show you low-calorie, high-protein options that are going to make it easier for you to hit your macros each and every single day while keeping your calories down, which is going to allow you to lose fat and build muscle. Let's head into Aldi's. Oh, this is a really pretty Aldi's, actually. It's nice. Okay, you're on a diet. The foundation of protein is probably gonna be poultry. It's probably gonna be chicken. I incorporate a couple meals of chicken into my diet each and every single day. And whenever I cook, I always cook in bulk. I never make a single serving. So if I'm making chicken, I'm either putting it in the air fryer, I'm putting it in the oven, or I'm putting it on the grill, and I am cooking up an entire family pack, or at least half a family pack at a time, so that I have multiple meals prepared for me for the rest of the week. So we're gonna look at a case of 2 chicken thighs here. You got this massive package, $2.50 a pound. We flip around, we look at the label. We got 140 calories, 25 grams of protein. Our protein test, when we're considering any protein source, if it's gonna be efficient, keeping our calories down and hitting our protein, is we take the grams of protein, in this case 25, we add a 0 to it. Does it have that many calories or less? If it does, it passes our protein test. So in this case, 25 grams of protein, we add a 0 to it. The calories are 140. This passes our protein test. The second thing that we want to look at when looking at animal protein is it a lean source? So these chicken thighs have 3 grams total fat, 0.5 grams of saturated fat. That is really, really lean. This is an awesome source of protein in our diet. It doesn't mean that a fattier source is bad. It just means that it's gonna have more calories, and also we wanna watch our total saturated fat intake. So let's look at these other chicken thighs. These are 180 calories, 21 grams of protein. Again, more calories here, but it still passes our protein test with 21 grams. We had a 0. This is 180 calories. It passes our protein test. But when looking at the fat, it has 10 grams of fat. Anything that has 10 grams of total fat or 4 grams of saturated fat per serving is not a lean source of protein. So both of these pass our protein test, but this, however, is not a lean source of protein and will have more calories than this. Well, this is the chicken that we're gonna end up buying here today. Now, some of the chicken breasts are gonna be even leaner, but I like the chicken thigh because it just has a lot more flavor. Another thing that you can do to really add flavor are these marinades. We've got Southwest style here, 120 calories, 21 grams of protein, again passes our protein test. Seasonings, marinades, an awesome way to add flavor if you're gonna have something like a chicken breast as opposed to the chicken thigh. Moving on from the poultry, we're over here at the beef and we're looking at ground meat first. Whenever you're picking your ground meat, you want something that's 90-8 or greater. That's the fraction of what is lean to fat. So you can see this is 96% lean, 4% fat. This is gonna pass our protein test, and this is gonna be a lean source of protein. They have 93.7. This is just splitting hairs. Either one of these is an excellent option. And they also have here at Aldi's 93.7 that is grass-fed. Look, if you cannot afford grass-fed beef because it is more expensive than traditional beef, I would tell you, as long as it's lean, like that 92.8 or above, it's perfectly fine to not buy grass-fed. However, recently I've really seen the price of grass-fed beef go down significantly. And here at Aldi's, these are both about $7 a pound, which means when price isn't a factor, I'm always going to opt for grass-fed because it has a better omega-3 profile, and it also has more of a fat known as CLA. If there is a significant gap in price, don't feel bad about buying traditional beef. Just make sure that it's lean. When it comes to steak options here at Aldi's, of course, I would love to get the grass-fed ribeye. Unfortunately, 390 calories, 18 grams of fat. It's got 35 grams of total fat and 15 grams of saturated fat. Does not make it a bad food. It just means that it's going to be hard to keep your calories down and your protein high when having things like this ribeye. So instead, we're gonna opt for the top round sirloin. A trick I use when selecting steak is always to look for terms like top or tenderloin. That usually means that it's going to be a leaner cut of meat. Keeping in line with our trick about remembering the term tenderloin, here we have pork tenderloin. This is 130 calories, 23 grams of protein, obliterates our protein test. When you compare it to something like the half loin here, this is 210 calories with 23 grams of protein. So this has almost half as many calories as this. So remember, terms like tenderloin, terms like top, they're going to indicate leaner cuts of meat. Talking about seafood here at Aldi's, when it comes to fresh fish, they do have Norwegian farm raised, but ideally we would want something that's wild caught. They have no fresh wild caught fish, they only have frozen. Looking at the options here, we've got salmon, wild caught, we've got ahi tuna, wild caught. Both of these incredibly high in omega-3s, but actually if it came down to it, I would go salmon wild caught frozen, and then I would go Norwegian salmon over the ahi tuna because this is incredibly high in mercury. When looking at fish, you want wild caught over something that's farm raised due to metallics. But Norwegian farm raised is sustainably farm raised and is actually going to be better than an option like even wild caught tuna. And then for our last option, we have flounder. The reason I say this is the last option is this is not really rich in omega-3s. And when we're selecting fish, the whole purpose of it is because of the omega-3s, which are so great for cognitive health and also for cardiovascular health. Okay, huge selection of deli meat here at Aldi's. Be mindful, you want to limit processed meat in your diet. But from time to time, who doesn't love a sandwich or the convenience of just shredding some deli meat over something like a salad or putting it in a wrap? So a ton of awesome options for deli meat here at Aldi's. And they also have these Egglife wraps that are actually 60 calories, 11 grams of protein with 3 different flavors. These are a really awesome option if you're looking for something that's super low in calorie with protein in a wrap. And believe it or not, Aldi's has a ton of bread options that we're going to talk about in a second. But I do want to highlight something else here, which is their light string cheese, 50 calories, 6 grams of protein. These are as good as a protein bar when it comes to hitting your protein goal. Not high protein, but definitely low in calorie. 647 bread. We've got 40 calories, 8 grams of fiber. Fiber is incredibly good for our gut microbiome and also very satiating. Helps with blood pressure, helps with cholesterol, helps fight diabetes. So back to that deli meat, 647 bread is a great option to accompany it. They also have keto bread over here, which again is even higher in fiber. Right here, keto-friendly bread, 35 calories, 10 grams of fiber. I would not sleep on incorporating fiber in your diet. I do it with my clients all the time. For every 500 calories they eat, I make sure they get at least 10 grams of fiber. So if somebody was on a 2,000 a day calorie diet, I'd want them to get 40 grams of fiber a day. And products like this really help accomplish that. Another wrap option besides the Egglife that we talked about before, which is high in protein, are these carb counters. This is 70 calories with 11 grams of fiber. Over here, we do have a protein bread that they offer. I actually, though, prefer the high fiber breads over it. This is 150 calories with 14 grams of protein. However, most of the protein is not bioavailable. In fact, only 8 of the grams is. You can see next to the protein in weight grams, you see a percentile that is the protein corrected digestibility amino acid score. And that score represents how much of the protein is actually bioavailable. So for that reason, I would opt for a high fiber bread rather than a high protein bread. Okay, here at Aldi's, they seem to be out of Kevin's. I guess I've been doing my job. Kevin's are flying off the shelves. Send me my check, Kevin. But seriously, Park Street Deli has a competing brand here at Aldi's. All the chicken, all the steak, they pass our protein test. Unfortunately, any of the ones that involve barbecue sauce, like these briskets, this pork, they do not pass the protein test. So the chicken and the steak ones are great options if you're in a hurry and you need a quick solution for dinner. If you're serious about hitting your protein goal, you're going to need to fall in love with non-fat Greek yogurt. They have a ton of options here at Aldi's that are all fantastic. Whether you're starting your day with it, just adding some fruit like raspberries, high in fiber, whether you're using it as your protein source in a smoothie, or even blending it up using something like seasoning or avocado to make it into a high protein salad dressing, Greek yogurt, always an awesome way to hit your protein goal. But besides traditional non-fat Greek yogurt here at Aldi's, they have this Super Zero yogurt, which is obviously a play on the Oikos 000. This one has no fat and it also has no added sugar. I'm going to take this home and actually try it out and see how it stacks against traditional Oikos 000. They also have this Pillars, which is a Greek yogurt shake, 100 calories, 20 grams of protein. I'm gonna try this out as well and review it. Obviously, it's a play on all the Greek yogurt pre-made shakes that we've seen recently hit the market. And finishing up here at Aldi's, we're looking at protein supplements. My opinion on protein supplements, whether they be bars or pre-made shakes, is they help you while you're on the go. If they're not convenient, they're not worthwhile eating. You should always be eating single ingredient foods, things like blueberries, broccoli, salmon, chicken, the things that we talked about today, except when one, you really enjoy it, or two, it helps you hit your macros and is convenient. Now, out of the protein bars here at Aldi's, they all suck. The only name brand one is the Built Puffs, but the problem with the Built Puffs is they are not a complete source of protein. They utilize a lot of collagen. Only about half the protein in these puffs is actually bioavailable. When it comes to pre-made shakes, they have a couple of options. The one I'm really intrigued by are these bad boys, which is clearly a play on the Fairlife shakes. I'm going to take these home. I'm going to try them out. I'm going to compare them to traditional Fairlife shakes. And that is it today for low-calorie, high-protein options here at Aldi's. If you like what you saw, please hit subscribe. We put out at least one long-format piece of content each and every single week here on YouTube. We put out shorts each and every single day on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. You simply search for Jacob Zemer. You can also go to jacobzemer.com to learn more about my coaching services, about my app, or even in-person training, which I do in Larchmont, New York, a town in Westchester. Content we put out is all about how to get in the best shape of your life. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed what you saw.